Hello, I'm Eric Braddock, co-founder of Ebon's Bakehouse with my wife Adrienne Novak. And today we're going to make a chocolate chess pie, one of my favorite holiday desserts. And we're going to use our chocolate chip cookies as a crust, and then we're going to make the filling to go with it. So basically what I have done is I'm going to take a 9-inch pie plate and take 5 of our chocolate chip cookies and crumble them up, and I've already got them here crumbled in our Cuisinart, and we're going to pulse these until they're nice and brown. It's a very simple crust. So it's a very fine crumb, as you can see, and we're going to basically add 3 tablespoons of butter to this, which I have already melted right here, and we're going to pulse this again. It'll start coming together a little bit. And now we're just going to take this mixture and dump it in our pie shell, our pie plate. And then we're just going to press this in up the sides of the plate. Then we're just going to press this down on the bottom. And this will work if you're not a fan of super chocolatey. You can also use our crispy kind of shortbread cookies as a crust. You can use basically any cookie as a crust, or you can just buy a gluten-free pie shell. But we prefer our cookies. So that's pretty much what it should look like. And then we're going to put this in the fridge to let it chill for about 20 minutes. And now we're going to make the filling. And the filling is very easy. Basically, I'm taking 2 cups of sugar, or 1.5 cups of sugar actually, and 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, mix that together. And then I'm going to take 2 eggs, two tablespoons of vanilla extract, actually it's teaspoons, sorry about that. we're going to take 5 ounces of evaporated milk. And we're going to whisk this up together. Just whisk it until it's incorporated. Then I'm going to add my 4 tablespoons of butter to that mixture. Mix that up together. And get that incorporated. Now we're going to go ahead and add this to our sugar and cocoa mixture. We're going to give this a good mix. And chess pie is an old school pie. It's been around forever. You can make, there's lemon chess pies. You can make them pretty much any flavor you want. Growing up in the South, we had a lot of lemon chess pies in the summertime. But I find the chocolate chess is perfect for the holiday season. So you get a nice batter now. So we're going to pull out our pie crust that has been chilling. And we're going to take this. And we're going to pour this into our chilled pie crust. And this is going into a 350-degree oven for about 40 minutes. And we'll be back when we see when the pie comes out of the oven. Open the oven up and take a look and see how our pie is doing. So you can see just by the jiggling it, it's not set yet in the middle. So we're going to let that go a little longer. You want it to, yeah, that's still not set. So we got about probably another 10 to 15 minutes on that. So we're going to slide that back in and let her keep going. Alright, we're going to check the pie again. Oh, now we're talking. Yeah, we're done. So we're going to pull this out. Give me another minute. And that is perfection right there. Now that we have our chocolate chess pie out of the oven, we're going to let that cool for probably an hour on the counter, and then we're going to chill it for about 45 minutes before we cut it, so it's set and nice and firm. And it goes well with whipped cream, ice cream, so you can serve it with whatever side you want. And now we're going to move on to our cranberry walnut bread stuffing. And we use our loaf of cranberry walnut bread, and we have it right here, and we've diced it up into croutons, small cubes, and we've dried it out in the oven, or you can let it sit on the counter for a couple of days covered, and it'll do the same basically. But we're going to start off, we're going to dice our vegetables, and that consists of onions, celery, garlic, and fresh herbs. But you can also use poultry seasoning if you like. That's what the recipe calls for, but we have a giant garden, so we use fresh herbs instead. So we'll get started with this. So I'm going to take my celery and get a nice fine dice on this. Here's our celery. It's a couple stalks. Add that to our dish over here. I'm going to take a couple cloves of garlic. I've already got peeled. Let's do that just a kind of a rough chop. Doesn't have to be minced. It's all going to be sauteed together, so you're going to get all that beautiful flavor anyway. 1 sweet onion. Take the skin off this. One more. Perfect. We're going to give these just a nice fine dice. Okay, so we got our onion diced. Take that, put it over here in our bowl as well. Now then, we're going to go and chop our herbs. Like I said before, you can use poultry seasoning, but since we have our garden, we're going to use fresh parsley. We're going to use fresh sage. It's beautiful fresh sage. It's so easy to grow, and it's prolific. It's a perennial, comes back every year. So it's not like basil that you got to replant. Just keeps coming back, coming back. We're going to get a bunch of fresh thyme out of our garden, so we're going to just strip the leaves off that. like that. Get a little bit more. And then we got fresh rosemary as well. I think that's enough for the rosemary. So basically what we do is I kind of roll this into like a ball or a tube. Work my way down it. Another fine chop. All right, it's perfect. Okay, now then I'm going to crack my eggs, get that ready. Perfect. Now we're going to come over and we're going to saute this and our herbs together in olive oil until they're tender. Over here to our skillet. We've got it preheated. We're going to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Heat to about medium high. This will come up to temp here in a sec. We're going to saute these in just until the celery, onion get a little translucent, and bring out all the oil and the herbs, so it'll be super fragrant. And you can do this. We love this Tefal pan. It's a non-stick, but you can use metal tools in it if you need to. But it's a great pan, along with cast iron, obviously. So here we go. We're going to add season it, and the salt helps release some of the moisture. Do a little pepper. And you always want to saute your vegetables for stuffing. Otherwise, the stuffing is not going to cook long enough for the vegetables to be cooked fully. Otherwise, you're going to have a nice stuffing with crunchy vegetables. So you want to cook them until they're soft, and then add them to your stuffing mix. And you might have thought that was a lot of herbs, but it's really not. When you add poultry seasoning, a tablespoon of poultry seasoning to that, you're basically getting all these herbs that have been dehydrated, that have been ground up together. Fresh herbs, we prefer, it just gives it a better flavor, I think, than just the canned poultry seasoning. You don't know how long it's been sitting on a shelf. Could have been there for a year. So fresh herbs make a huge difference. So, amazing. Another minute or two, and then we'll be ready to assemble the stuffing. Now we're going to take this and head over to our workspace, and I'm going to add all this mixture into the mixing bowl. Get my fork. I always like to beat my egg a little bit before I put it in the stuffing mix. Perfect. And basically what we're going to do is just add our croutons, our cranberry walnut bread croutons. We're going to mix that up with our herbs. We're going to add our beaten egg over top. Stir that in. And then we're going to go in with our 2 cups, or we're going to go in with our chicken stock. And you want your stuffing when you put it in your pan, you want it to be a little wet. That's the key, actually, to really good stuffing, is making sure you have enough moisture in it so it all absorbs to the bread. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this stand for a few minutes so will absorb the rest of this liquid, and then when we come back we'll put it in our baking dish and get it in the oven. Alright, now that you can see the stuffing has absorbed most of that liquid, we're going to season it with a pinch of salt, about a teaspoon actually. Maybe a touch more. And one of the keys to this is my mom's trick for a nice light stuffing is about a teaspoon of baking powder. And you just sprinkle that over top. And what that does, it lightens and gives you a nice light stuffing. So we're going to mix the baking powder in. Alright, now then, we're going to spray our pan. It's 9 by 13 olive oil. And then we're going to add our stuffing mix. Get all the goodness out of there. We're going to spread this out evenly. We're going to cover it with a piece of foil. And it's going in a 350-degree oven. And we'll come and take the foil off in about a half hour, and then we will fluff it and then put it back in the oven to get a little brown on it. All right, the stuffing has been in 30 minutes, and we're going to take it out, take the foil off, and we're going to fluff it, put it back in the oven for about 10 minutes to get a little crust on it, and it'll be done. So we're going to pull it out of the oven, and it smells absolutely brilliant. So we're going to put it right here. Take the foil off. The smell is unbelievably delicious. We're going to fluff it up. And see how light that is? That's the baking powder. So you have a nice light stuffing instead of stuffing that you can slice. Just like that. And then we're going to take this and we're going to put it back in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes, and we'll be done. And we'll see you back here in 10 minutes. All right, we're going to take the stuffing out of the oven. That is perfect. It's got a little brown to it. And this is what the finished product looks like. It's a beautiful, flaky stuffing for your turkey. Now, people might want to ask, can you bake this in your turkey? We find that as you bake your turkey, there's a lot of blood that lies in the cavity of your bird while your turkey is cooking, and we don't want the stuffing mixture to absorb that blood, because by the time the stuffing is done and this blood is totally cooked, and you're stuffing, your turkey is overcooked. So that's why we do not bake it inside the bird. Also, if you want a nice moist bird, later this month we'll be sending out an email, so go to our website and sign up, and I will be giving you Adrienne's, my wife's, turkey brine for your turkey. And then once you brine your turkey overnight, then you can stuff the cavity with an apple, onion, carrot, celery, herbs, any type of the mirepoix you want. The mirepoix is basically onion, celery, carrots, and then you can jam it with fresh herbs, and if you want fruit in it, you can do that as well. So, and that will give your turkey all the flavor it needs, and all that moisture that's cooking out of the vegetables will help keep your bird moist as well. But this is the stuffing, and I'm going to have a bite because I can't wait. One of the best stuffing recipes you'll ever eat, right here. Thank you.